Okay, so here we are, we're setting off, it's day 2, we're setting off on our walk to get to the top of Kinder Scout, and the landscape is just stunning. We've waited until sort of early to mid-afternoon because it's clouded over a bit, it's a bit less hot, which means we're not going to get baked when we're up there. And you know, we've got a cagoule and stuff if it rains, but temperatures are still fairly warm. So I'm just going to show you how beautiful the start of the path is. Here we go, we're in Edale village. It's gorgeous. And I think we're in for some of the best scenery that the Peak District has got to offer, really. Just noticed at the beginning of our route, got this stunning old veteran beech tree. It's absolutely beautiful. And here are some gorgeous artist bracket fungus growing from this tree. We're not going to harvest any. It would be really, actually quite wrong to harvest them from here because many walkers pass by this spot at the beginning of the route. And they can all admire them and learn about them. And of course, if we take them or even wreck their appearance, then other people don't get the benefit of that learning experience, really. But this is a mushroom that has some really great properties for the human immune system. And in fact, in Japan, it's used socially drunk as a tea called Kofuki Saru no Koshikaki, which means the powdered monkey shelf. Let me show you why. You're going to have to imagine the monkeys sat on the shelf, I'm afraid. Although in the book Gorillas in the Mist, it is noted that gorillas in Africa certainly harvest these fungi. When they're feeling poorly, they suck on them. This is a really big one. It's, in fact, almost 2 feet in diameter. And look at the beautiful, pristine surface underneath. It's absolutely gorgeous. They're perennial bracket fungi. The mycelium lives in the whole tree and is involved in breaking down sort of really redundant old wood as part of the tree's decay process. And can you see that there are a number of layers to its growth? Every one of those layers is a year of growth. So this fruiting body sits on the tree for maybe up to 40 years, growing huge. I mean, there are so many stories I could tell you about this fungus, but because we're on a hike, we don't really have time for all of that. But just to say, really suffice to say that the reason it's called the artist bracket is because this white surface underneath, if you apply any pressure at all to it, then it will leave a mark, and it can be used as an artist medium for that reason, a bit like a sort of scratch board, one of those foil scratch boards for making etchings and things. And traditionally they were used, and you know, landscapes were etched on them and things, and then they were lacquered and they would become a memento to pass down through the family, maybe put on the mantelpiece or something for all to see. And it's a really heavy spore producer. So one of the reasons it's called the powdered monkey shelf, in Japanese of course, is because the upper surface gets covered in these spores that are propelled out from underneath when this little bit of magic happens. 2 droplets of moisture, one on the spore, one on where it's attached, called Buller's drop, merge together, and it causes a great change in surface tension that propels the spores into the air. And they come swirling out at 10,000 kilometers an hour or something, and it creates little eddy currents, and a lot of them come up and they'll end up coming back down and landing on top of the cap. Hence the powder in the name. Can you see it there? Powdered monkey shelf. And these spores are used medicinally in Eastern medicine, in Chinese medicine, where they help to reduce anxiety and help with insomnia, among other things. Okay. And also in Southeast Asia, small pieces of this mushroom are also boiled up to make stock for cooking noodles and for ramens and things like that. So I thought you'd like to see, but aren't they just magnificent? There's absolutely no way I would consider harvesting any of these from this really important wayside tree at the start of this route. It would just feel so wrong. So off we go, up to Kinder Scout. Here's just a quick panoramic view for you. We've now turned off at Alder Farm and we're quite not too far now from the base of the escarpment going up. Just a waypointer for you in case you decide to come this way at any point. It is really beautiful. I highly recommend it. So we've just come through this gate. This is Alder Farm, which has got a bunkhouse for walkers. There's the Alder. Tasch is down there with the dog. Dog's having a drink. Max is having a drink. And this is the way of the route. So we're still climbing, we're ascending via the Alder Brook. That's the brook you can see down there in the gully. And I just wanted to show you, the wall down there is the beginning of the open access land, the countryside and rights of way act land. So we're in sort of freedom to roam territory now, once we're on this side of that wall. That big beech tree is quite a good landmark actually. It marks the start of this. And I hope you can see all around me, this sea of green is bilberry. There's a sea of bilberry up here on this moorland. We're just a little bit early, although it is covered in unripe berries, and a few of them are still a bit tart, but a few of them are ripe enough to eat, but the majority of them are not. So just point here, they're still a bit small. For those of you who've never eaten a bilberry, they're a little bit like blueberries, really, smaller blueberries. They make lovely tarts and things, and lovely jam. Take a bit of collecting. Although if you use a berry picker, it can save you quite a lot of time. If you want to get a berry picker, have a look on the shop page on my website at www.thewildsideoflife.co.uk, where you can you'll be able to pick one up from there. And there's also lots of heather or ling and bell heather, and it's actually really quite stunningly beautiful. It really is gorgeous, and we're nearly at the point now where we turn away from the Alder Brook, and we're going to take a sharp left turn and start following the contours to get us around the next hill before we start to ascend more steeply up onto Kinder Scout. Just lovely. Here we go. First bilberries of the season. For me anyway. Oop, dropped one. That's quite sweet actually, quite aromatic. Lovely. See if we can see any more. Just giving you a quick panoramic view here. We're at the foot of the nab. I don't know, we're probably 2/3 or more of the way up Kinder Scout, but look at this gorgeous view. Got the Tor Ridge there on the skyline. That's a walk probably for tomorrow or the next day. I reckon it's a deck chair day tomorrow, and then the day after we'll probably walk the Tor Ridgeline, so you might catch a bit more if we do any filming. But it's a gorgeous view. You couldn't go wrong. Couldn't go wrong with this.
Where are we? Where are we looking? That's the road down there. That'll be, I think that's the B.
That's Tor there,
That's
isn't
right,
it?
that's the B road there. Which,
Is that the Great Bridge?
he hasn't got a name on it.
Yeah, he didn't want to survey.
We're about to climb up the steps known as Ringing Roger. And the path doesn't go all the way over the top of Ringing Roger, that's there, but it goes sort of to the left and over. And once we're over that, we've only got a short but steep ascent to get to the top of the ridge, and we'll be up on the Kinderscout Plateau. Bit higher up, we couldn't resist checking out the top of Ringing Roger. Actually, it's such an amazing rock formation. Just check this out. We're going to go up a bit further in a second. Our initial route didn't take us right over the top of it, but we just felt like we really needed to check it out because it's just so amazing. It's like the ancient wrinkles of a tortoise's face. It's just incredible. The sort of texture of the rock from the weathering. It's pretty windy up here. This is the view from the top of Ringing Roger. Pretty much the top. You can see some of the other peaks from up here now. We're higher than some of them. It's amazing. So just sharing a little bit of the route with you. This is the gorge down through, this is the Grindsbrook Gorge coming down from the Kinderscout Plateau up there. We've just come down that first very steep section, which in places is quite a difficult scree slope. Large boulders, definitely. I've got a bit of a sore knee after doing the first part of the walk, so that was a bit challenging, but it's getting a bit better now. And it is stunningly beautiful. We've lost the beautiful sunny day that we had, and everything's a bit grey and misty now, but it is just absolutely lovely down here. And I'll just pan around and show you what the way down the mountain looks like. Here we go. All the way down to Edale if we follow that path. Oh. So next update on the journey. Here we are. We're quite a long way down the Grindsbrook now. That's Crowdon up on the left of us still. And as you can see, we've come quite a long way. It is very, very beautiful. There are lots and lots of lovely waterfalls all the way down. The path crosses over a few hundred meters back, and we're now running along the side of the gorge a bit higher up, but able to look down and see all the running water and hear the sound of it, and it's absolutely beautiful as well. They look snackable, and that one looks snackable. And that one looks snackable. Yum. Really good. Very good. I've just come across this beautiful birch grove on the side of the gorge. And where there are birch trees, there are often some useful mushrooms. And judging by this closely cropped sheep-mown grass, and bearing in mind there's a lot of water coming down through here off the mountain, this is probably a great place to find some chanterelles later in the summer or the autumn if it's been wet enough. Although we've had a bit of rain today, it's really definitely nowhere near wet enough at the moment. I'd be really surprised anyway. What we do have is some medicinal birch polypore mushroom up on this partially dead old birch tree here. This is a fungus that was carried by Ötzi, the Iceman in the European Copper Age in the Austrian Tyrol. He was dug up a few decades ago in the permafrost, and they found that he had this mushroom along with another mushroom, the tinder hoof, that also grows on birch, threaded onto his calf skin belt. And it's got a lot of medicinal uses. It's an anti-inflammatory, so it would help him with his arthritic pain, because he had, when they examined his body, he had arthritis and Lyme disease. It's an anti-parasitic, and he also had a whipworm infection, so it would have helped with that. And in general, it modulates the immune system and helps to build virus against infections. It's even possible to peel the lower surface off of the mushroom. These look a bit dingy and old, and I don't think I'd want to try it. And use it as an anti-infective, antibacterial plaster on a wound. So very, very useful. Lots of other survival uses too. It can be burned as a fuel if it's properly dry. Burns hot enough to cook food on, water on, boil water. It can be used as a knife sharpener. So lots and lots of uses. Beautiful old birch trees. They're stunning. Let's have a quick wander around and see if there's anything else. Wondering if there was any chaga, but I'm not seeing chaga. It's possibly the site is too well draining, because chaga tends to like really boggy spots where the trees really struggle to grow, actually, in my experience. Although we are far enough north just about. It probably gets cold enough here in the winter for it. If you can find a flat spot, this would be a lovely place to wild camp though. And that big flat-topped table of a boulder there would make a very nice table to have a picnic on. Great place to cool off on a day like this. For humans and dogs. What do you reckon, Max? Flows under this beautiful old wooden bridge, which really is a work of art in itself, and down into Grindsbrook, just below the trees there. That's the meeting point, just above Edale. So these steps to the right, this is the path up Grindsbrook Clough, which will take you all the way up the Grindsbrook, all the way up to the top, onto the Kinder Scout Plateau. But it is a punishing rock scramble, really a sort of scree slope of big boulders in the last section. Quite hard work. Should we head on, Max? Max, should we head on? Yeah? Good lad. Good boy. We'll take the horrible lead off you in a minute. Just walking past this tree. It's not really a stump actually. It is a mostly living tree. Possibly not for long from what I've just found growing out of the side of the bank. And look at these beautiful picturesque mushrooms. This is actually sulfur tuft. Hypholoma fasciculari, so it's not an edible mushroom at all. In fact, it's slightly toxic. It's giving off a pretty hefty, heady mushroom smell right now, though. And I just thought you'd like to see them because it's really, really beautiful. And also a sign that there could be other mushrooms about, who knows? These have obviously managed to fruit. They tend to be pretty common on decaying wood though, and one of the earliest fruiters and found through most of the year. And there's little clusters of them breaking out on the roots, poking out through the bank. Everywhere we look. That's the way we're headed, back into Edale. There's the Tor Ridge ahead of us. Probably it can wait until the day after tomorrow, I expect. I imagine the legs are going to be quite tired tomorrow. Although there isn't too much to be foraged around here just at the minute. One thing that you could do on a wayside stop off is have a nice cup of white clover tea. Now you can use the clover leaves. Can you see them down in the base there? With almost like a kind of that broad oval leaves that have almost a little nail cuticle kind of marking on them, like a half moon. And they taste like pea shoots, so they're quite a good addition chopped into a little salad. But there's really heavy sheep grazing here, so I think I'd want to wash them well first. And the advantage of making the tea is that white clover flower tea is really honey-like and refreshing. But I want you to just see something. When these flowers get pollinated, can you see the lower florets? It's like a compound flower head of all these tubular florets. The lower florets hang down. And when they hang down like that, they've been pollinated, and it means the flower becomes bitter because it stops producing all the sweet nectar that it uses to attract insects. So you're looking for flowers where the lower row of florets like this is not hanging down. Otherwise, your herbal tea is going to be quite bitter. Whereas if you find a nice flower head, this is not the best one in the world, but here's one, where the lower florets are still curved upwards, these are the ones that make a really nice sweet tea. And you just want, a small handful of the fresh ones. Pour hot water on it. Max is pulling the camera over. I do apologise. And, pour hot water over it. Let the kettle go off the boil. Pour hot water over it and let it stand for about 8 minutes. And you won't need to add any honey to it because it's very honey-like in its own right. What are you up to, Max? What are you up to? Being crazy. Oh, shake, shake. That's it. You're being really, really good. Keeping you on the lead though, aren't we? On these trails, there's so many sheep around and also ground nesting birds. But unless you're really out in the open in very short grass and there's no sheep to be seen, you really do need to keep your dogs on the lead. It's only fair. Good boy. Should we go and see if there's any more squirrels? Yeah? This rather beautiful looking tree is our native alder. That's alder with an A, not elder with an E. So this is not the source of elderflowers and elderberries. And the alders are really the only broadleaf tree that bears cones. So the seed-bearing structure is, these are not mature yet, but it bears little cones. The female flowers bear little cones. And this is not a food, but it is a plant with an interesting tradition of use. And in the extreme north of Europe, the Sami people use this. They use the bark of this tree to create the traditional red pigment that's used to paint their shamanic drums for communing with the ancestor spirits. And also, it has a tradition of being used for cleaning teeth, because the bark contains a lot of soapy detergent-like substances called saponins. And once upon a time, long before the advent of toothbrushes and toothpaste, people would just pick a twig off of this tree and they would chew it and rub it around their teeth to help remove deposits and plaque and clean the teeth. And you should spit it out because saponins are mildly toxic. I'm guessing toothpaste is pretty toxic too, and you certainly wouldn't want to go and eat a tube of it, mind. But this is a traditional, old-fashioned way for getting the teeth and gums and mouth clean. It's an old-fashioned way of looking after your mouth hygiene. Notice that the leaf in shape is a little bit similar to the leaf of hazel, but it doesn't come to a pointed tip. It comes to a blunt termination, and some of the leaves, you can see they're really quite flat at the end. And maybe in some cases, I'm going to point to one here, that's quite typical. You'll see there's even a little indentation at the tip of the leaf. This one here is even better. Let me hold it up for you and you can see. There you go. See the little indentation at the tip of the leaf, which makes it quite distinctive and easy to identify. And if you see that, and you see these cone-like structures here, which once they are mature, these will be black, by the way, and they do resemble little fir cones. Once you see those, you've definitely got the right tree. It likes to be next to rivers. It likes to have its roots really down in the water if possible, and it can be very deep rooted. And it's very much a riverside and boggy place tree. Oh, these foxgloves, beautiful. It's a shame they're behind the fence. Lots of walkers going by. Pretty much everybody you bump into here has got a rucksack and water strapped to it and all the gear on, because they're mostly hiking pretty long distances. Some are doing the Pennine Way, some are going and doing the Kinder Scout Ridge, or maybe the horseshoe round onto Mam Tor. Isn't that lovely? Well, this really is the last leg of our journey. Once we go down these rather beautifully fashioned steps, we're going to be pretty much in Edale village and back to the campsite. I've got to say, it's been absolutely stunning. I'm just going to do a quick check of the watch here, and yeah, I think we've been walking for about 6 hours, but we did stop quite a lot to do some filming and for picnic breaks and stuff like that, so we weren't walking continuously, and it's probably doable in about 4.5. I would have thought, no problem on a good day with some determination and grit behind you. Lots and lots of lovely native trees down as we get down towards the bottom of the valley. There's native alder, sessile oak, holly, as you can see here, hawthorn, rowan and sycamore. And we've been through groves of silver birch and beech and oak on the way down the river valley. It's been completely stunning. So thanks for sharing the journey with us. And we'll be signing off, I think, now, and we'll see you soon.